Have you heard of the greatest love story that there ever is? The greatest love story. I am coming to you live to let you know about the greatest love story that I have ever experienced and ever witnessed in my entire life. Have you had that happen to you? You know, the greatest love story I have witnessed is me falling in love with who I am, what I bring to the table, and how I show up in my life. And really understanding that if I don't love myself, how can I love other people? Have you ever heard of the scripture that says that to love your neighbor, the greatest commandment of all? God says the greatest commandment of all is to love your neighbor as yourself. Have you ever heard of that? And I always used to say, well, not a lot of people are loving their neighbors because they don't love themselves. You know, what I've come to realize is being a person who's really taking this love story that I'm talking about very seriously is a lot of people have been looking for love in all the wrong places. And because it's Valentine's Day, I am going to come to you with the greatest love story that you could ever create. And I want to share with you, some of us are like one of three people, right? We're either saying, "Oh gosh, you know, I got a man and I can't wait to go to dinner with him and or her or them or whatever your your partner is." You are excited about going to spend Valentine's Day, this beautiful man-made, woman-made holiday, uh, for hanging out with them. Or the second person, the second type of person that I know is out there is the person who's searching for that perfect partner, and they're waking up today and going, just don't have that perfect person. And then the other person, like me, is realizing that I am so grateful and I am so in love with being who I am. Now, let me tell you something. That greatest love story of happening for you is not selfish. A lot of us think that just by loving ourselves, by taking time to understand ourselves and creating this love story with yourself is selfish. Whereas you just heard me say earlier about the Bible scripture that says the greatest commandment of all is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Hidden in that message is the fact that you need to find a love story within you. But here's what I am realizing with a lot of people. You know, a lot of people are searching for love outside of themselves. They're searching for that perfect relationship that's going to empower or endow love to them when we have got it so mixed up. And I am talking to you as those of you who are out here, but I'm more specifically talking to my corporate women. How many of you have been waiting for someone to make you feel seen, heard, and valued when you don't even feel seen, heard, and valued in yourself? So, this love story that I am speaking about is directly related to you, directly related to you on your job, in your home, and in your community, but more specifically to my corporate women on your job. This is the anthem cry that I am giving to you to give you the secrets to being seen, heard, and valued is to know thyself, is to love thyself, to fall in love with who you are and what you see when you look in the mirror, the head that you fall down on in your bed, the um, meaning your own head. That was kind of a little gone off off the rails there. So come on back, come on back. But making certain that you are falling in love with you specifically. So, as you all know, if you've been joining here in this community here, LinkedIn Live and on YouTube, my name is Diana Patton, and I help women speak up, corporate women speak up and advocate for themselves and do it with their authentic voice. And we help women understand that the greatest love that they could have for anyone is for themselves, to realize the path, the power, purpose, and connection that they have within themselves to do their greatest work. And that's why we go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 a.m., LinkedIn, and on YouTube. And I want to share with you that every single week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m., not only do we go live, but we have weekly content that we publish, and we want to make certain that you are a part of this messaging, because we want to set your world on fire to do your greatest work. We understand that there is all of these other things going on in the world. We realize that there are a lot of people who are scared, who have been falling into fear, living with this idea that they don't know what's going to happen next. But let me tell you something, that you've been born for a very specific reason. You have a very specific purpose. And there is a gift that's inside of you that you haven't even tapped into. You've been spending so much time doing the check in the boxes and playing checkers on your work, and you haven't been realizing that the chess playing power position is within you. And that is to love yourself, to be able to understand there's power in you. And I'll tell you this from someone who has been married for 27 years. I have significant success in my corporate world, in as an entrepreneur. And I've come to realize that the more that I have taken time to understand myself, to fall in love with myself, to read, to learn, to give to myself first, I'm better able to be a person that loves my husband, a person that does very well in my corporate work and in my entrepreneurial work, and to be able to give the women that we are leading in the Rise Advocates movement everything they need to be successful. And that really means getting quiet. That means turning off all the noise and falling into this spiritual being that you have deep within you, to make certain that your human experience is really connected to the spiritual being that you have deep within you. And that is the greatest love of all. So I want to be able to share with you some things that you can do to fall more in love with yourself. So when I'm preparing for this live today, I was thinking about like the song that came up. And by the way, I want to give a shout out. I'm gonna make sure my microphone is on. Okay. I want to give a shout out to our team, our Rise with Diana team. That's Yanaya Curry and Woodley White, who help us every single week pull together content that we know is beneficial to our client, which are corporate women, to be able to help you. And one of the things that I started to do as I was thinking of the live today, I was thinking about the song by Whitney Houston, "The Greatest Love of All." And you should play that song, because that song has been on repeat in my mind. And I love the song because it says everybody's, searching for a hero. And everyone wants to know who that is. But the greatest love of all is inside of you. And there's nothing that you can do that is going to be the greatest love outside of you, but it has to be within you. And so I say, for today, for this Valentine's Day, this is February 14th, 2025, is to be able to pick up that song, put that song on repeat, and let you play that song. In fact, I'm going to pull up the lyrics because I think it's worthy of you reading some of it. So it says, "Everybody's searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone who fulfilled my needs, a lonely place to be. And so I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadows. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I'll live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity." And that is an anthem for all of the days, right? Because if a lot of people are able to take away your dignity. Hey, Manuel, thank you so much for coming in today. Wearing my red for today. So That's what I want to talk about. That's what I want to get into. And I want to give you three things to think about as you are beginning to find and connect to the greatest love of all, which is found in you, so that no one can take away your dignity. And I'm going to go, before I go into these 3 points, I just want to share with you that over these last, I don't know, 6 months, more than that, I've been thinking about my grandmother, and I have been channeling her because I just have come to realize that, again, this is a woman who did not have any laws, any rule, anything that would help her on the outside. But she started to really dive into her own dignity, who she is as a woman. What is the gift that she is supposed to give to the world? And instead of focusing on all of these outside factors, she began to focus in on her unique gifts. I will say that for my grandmother, Luella Talmadge Jackson. I will also say that for my mother, Joni Jackson Pinsky, who I saw as a young girl, her begin to find the greatest love of all within her and understand the unique gifts that she brought, and to stop allowing people to take away her power. And I'm going to give you these 3 tips that if I could have read the book of my grandmother, Luella Talmadge Jackson, and if my mother would be writing a book, I believe that these 3 things would be the things that she would point to. I am 100% certain and confident that the 3 things corporate women need to know today is to be able to find this greatest love. And these 3 things are the things I believe, and I will repeat over and over again until I exit this human body. I will repeat these 3 things that you need to be able to get yourself there. All right. Are you ready for them? All right. So I'm going to go back to my notes here. Um, so here is the first thing that I believe everyone needs to be able to do is to speak affirmations and new stories over your life. That is the number one thing you have to begin to do. You've been speaking affirmations and declarative statements and rehearsing stories in your mind that have nothing to do with loving yourself. In fact, those stories are so demeaning and they are so degrading to yourself that I don't even believe that you even understand what you're saying. You have to wake up and get conscious about the stories that you are saying to yourself. You've got to wake up and get conscious about the narratives that you've been rehearsing since the beginning of time. You are asleep, sleepwalking through your life and completely devouring anything that is allowing you to love yourself. In fact, the stories and the affirmations that you are subconsciously repeating over and over and over again is deflecting the love that you should have in your life. You already know, you're in this community. You know, I'm all about manifestation. You are manifesting everything in your life based upon what it is that you believe and what you think. Now, I want to take this a step further because I want to share this with you that you guys know lately I've been reading this book by Eckhart Tolle. Are you familiar with this book, Eckhart Tolle, A New Earth? I've been talking about it almost in every live, but I want to be able to share this with you. And you guys, I have this book. I am reading this book over and over and over and over and over again. And I want to read this quote to you. And it has everything to do with the affirmations and stories that you're saying in your life and what you want. Because again, I said at the beginning that some of you guys are out here looking for relationships. You are trying to find a relationship or you're with your relationship. And I want to make certain that you realize that this greatest love, it starts with you. And whatever you want, you can have. But let me tell you something, whatever you want, it says, you cannot manifest what you want. You can manifest what you already have. Okay, I have to type this in. Okay, let me let me hide this And I have to type this in because you really need to hear this and you need to see it, okay? I'm going to write it as it says, you cannot manifest what you want. You can only manifest what you already have. Mm, right? Isn't that amazing? This comes from him, Dr. or Eckhart Tolle. I'm going to call him doctor. And I want to go into this on this first part because, again, to have the greatest love of all, to be you, to be able to be seen, heard, and valued in your corporate role for doing your greatest work, you cannot manifest what you want. You can only manifest what you already have. So some of you, because you're not speaking these affirmations, you're not speaking affirmations and the new stories over your life. It's because you're not believing that. So I want you to believe that you are the story and the affirmation that you want in your life. Okay. So I want to just take it a little step further about what Eckhart Tolle says. It says, you cannot manifest what you want. You can only manifest what you already have. You may get what you want through hard work and stress, but that is not the way of this new earth, the living that I am talking about. And I love this quote. He says, Jesus gave the key to the creative use of mind and to the conscious manifestation of form when he said, whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. You want the greatest love? You want to have the greatest love in your life? You've got to believe and speak this affirmation over your life. And guess what he says? It will be yours. I am Manuel. You could come into my lives every single week, but I'm telling you, yes, this is powerful. This is powerful, and you can be in my demographic, okay? Because I am speaking to you. So, first things first, speak affirmations over your life. Speak affirmations over your life and new stories, okay? And believe it. Now, the second thing that I want you to know that I am absolutely and positively certain that people that do great work in the world, who are seen, heard, and valued, who can speak up and advocate for themselves, you know what they do? This is what they do. They give yourself the grace you so freely give others. Because here's the thing, when you mess up and you make mistakes, right? Let's say, for instance, you are in this path, you're doing great things, you are really following what I'm talking about, but you don't give yourself grace, meaning that you condemn yourself when you mess up. You're constantly rehearsing, and holding on to things that are not serving you, right? But you give grace so freely to other people, but you don't give grace to yourself. One of the best things that you could do to fall in love with yourself is to understand that this life is an experiment. And the more that I dismiss and surrender the things that might be holding me back, the more you're going to get to the greatest love and to be seen, heard, and valued for what it is that you want. So I want to reference another aspect of this point, and I want to drive this point home. This is the second way that you are going to find the greatest love for yourself, the greatest love. If you're looking for love, it starts with you. And here's what he says, that one of the best things that you can do to help yourself, I would say, give yourself grace and freely give it, is to accept. All right. I'm going to write this in here, is acceptance. Because once you start to see that there's some things that you do, right? Because again, you're learning yourself, you're falling in love with yourself, you're going to mess up sometimes. But what you've got to do is, when you see that mistake or you see something happen, you have to say, I accept that I did that, right? And I love what he says here. Whatever you cannot enjoy doing, you can at least accept that this is what you have to do. Acceptance means for now, this is what this situation, this moment requires me to do. And so I do it willingly. So when you mess up and you do something that you didn't want to do, the second thing you're going to do is give yourself grace. You so freely deserve, give others, and you're going to accept that this happened and you're going to keep it stepping. Does that sound like a deal? Right? So, okay, so first, what are we going to do first, Manuel? First, we're going to speak affirmations and new stories over your life. The second thing you're going to do is give yourself the grace you so freely give others. And I'm going to tell you something. For me, I really did not know how to give myself grace. I did not, and I was never quite aware of how deeply ingrained I was convicting myself every single time. And I don't know about you guys, but like if something happened, I would always go to the worst case scenario. I would always think the worst case scenario. And that always got me into deeper and deeper and deeper horrible feelings. And I realizing at that time, I was deflecting the opportunities to come to me. And so I just want to let you know that you have to give yourself grace that you so freely give others and surrender and remove any of the things that could be holding you back. Okay, so now I want to give you the third thing that I want you to consider is take yourself out on a date. What I mean by that is you don't spend a lot of time with yourself and loving who you are and to give yourself what you need. Now, for me, I give myself every single day time to connect with myself. That is a morning practice. I am very quick to go for a walk, to go for a run, to turn on a podcast, to go to coffee with myself. And that is so great. Now, the previous me would always try to fill myself up with, you know, going places, meeting people, and doing things, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But when you really start to understand that the greatest love of all and to look for love is to find it within you. And I'm going to say, when you take yourself out on a date, you know what you're doing is you're connecting with your soul and with the God inside of you, right? Because when you pull away, your soul begins to speak truth to you, right? Your soul begins to speak to you in a way that you have never, ever quite understood. And that is where you start to lean not on your own understanding, right? You begin to follow God's understanding and you really start to change your whole life. Everything begins to change. Do you see how everything layers on top of one another? This, my friends, is how you can find love, starting with you. The greatest love and the greatest relationship that you can have is with yourself. And then when you have that great relationship with yourself, you will have a great relationship with your spouse, your partner, your friend, your lover. You have a great relationships with your boss, the people on your job. You will begin to manifest in a way that you have never manifested before. And your life will begin to change because the greatest love story begins with you. It always does. So I hope that this was helpful for you today. And I want you to know, Emmanuel, if you're still there, thank you so much for tuning in. And you know that we are live every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Yes, we are here to help corporate women speak up, advocate for themselves, and of course, to do that with their authentic voice, with the story that they have deep within them. And when you work on the greatest love, being you, you start to see the story that you've been given and the life that you've been given. And you start to recognize the power that you have within you to redo and rechange, to change in and manifest the life that you know that you were designed to have. This is the work that we are giving to our corporate women and to anyone else who wants to come into this channel. Come on in, because we know this is powerful stuff. It is powerful stuff. It's what is going to help you live the most brilliant, magnificent life. You were born in this generation during this time period for a very specific purpose. And when you connect with yourself, you fall in love with who you are, everything changes. Everything changes. Say it with me. I am not selfish. Say it. I am not selfish for focusing on myself, right? You are giving yourself everything you need to give back to the world in a way that only you have been designed to give. That's what I want to leave you with today. And I also want to leave you with this. I want to connect with you. If you are a corporate woman who's just really struggling with trying to find a way to accept who you are, love who you are, because it's likely you're like me, you've gotten a lot of success in your life, right? You have worked so hard, you've done all the things, you've checked all the boxes, you've gotten the degrees, you even have the status on your job, but you feel like there's something missing. You you also feel restless. You know that there's something more. And you know deep down inside of you that there is God who's speaking to you. You know that there's spiritual connection that you're longing for. If that's you, if you're like me and this is what you want, I'm building a movement. The Rise with Diana movement, the Rise Advocates Academy, the Rise Advocates movement. We are for you. We want to connect with you. So I'm going to add a link to both of the YouTube and LinkedIn for you to be able to connect with you. If you're serious about this work and you want to allow yourself to get to this new level, which I know that you have been thinking about every single day of your life, then we're here for you. And we're not playing around, right? We're not these people who are just this flash in the pan, get me something, get me my money and all that. That's not for that. That's not us. We're all about the long-term plan. We're all about helping you in your corporate position get where you need to be so that you can serve, mentor, ally with, disciple, advocate for others. If that's you, then we want you in our community. We want you in our community because we are growing 100,000 strong, 100,000 strong, and we have got to meet our goal. So we hope that you will join us. Get the link, see if we're a good fit, fill out the information, and then we'll go from there. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you on Monday, this coming Monday. We meet Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 a.m. We go live on this channel and on LinkedIn. Looking forward to seeing you soon.